Welcome to Murderess Podcast with your hosts, Sidney Smith and
Jamie Kamaya.
What up, Jay?
How are you?
How are you? You know, I was thinking about starting the show like this because when we first started talking about doing this, I said, Jamie, I'm gonna talk like this, that very low AM radio.
Yeah, and I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah, you did. You did say. I was looking for different ways that we could brand this show, man. I was like, okay, how do I want to talk to the people about murder? Because to be honest with you, outside of me and you, I don't talk about murder a whole lot, except for my wife. We'll sit and watch the show and we'll talk about it. But
our budding personalities should do it.
Do you think that's it, huh? But I do have this voice. I like to think I could just use on the AM dial.
Yeah, you have an AM voice. I'm not sure what my voice is, but
we know what your
something.
voice is. If Family Guy did an AM radio personality, it would be you.
And be me.
It would be you. So what's up, man? Anything good? What's going on? Wait a minute. We got to start here.
What's that?
Because we haven't talked since I was Valentine's Day.
Oh, it was good. Good. The girl made me steak. We steak dinner the night before, and then I cooked dinner actually on Valentine's Day. We exchanged some gifts. I got a dehydrator. I
saw that, and you didn't bring any jerky with you. You rat bastard.
It was my first pass. It's not terrible. It's room for improvement, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I know, and that's why I wanted you to bring it so I could talk about it like a dog. I'm like, dude, you brought me this shit jerky over here.
Oh no! See, you'll get the second batch.
Did you dehydrate this in the sun or what?
In my dehydrator.
All right. See, but I would have questioned it. But I'm glad I wish you had brought it, but I'm glad you did. All at the same time. Can you be happy and not happy about something at the same time?
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't think so.
Just a random question. All right. So you got a dehydrator. What did you get her?
I got her clothes for her job.
Okay.
She needed some new clothes.
She going to work naked or what's going on here?
No. She just needs some new clotes.
You almost said tube tops.
So no, I didn't say tube tops. I'm not sure what I was almost saying, but it wasn't tube tops.
You got what are you dating at 17-year-old over there? Tube tops?
No tube tops.
So you got like some business suits?
Like blouses, I guess I would call them.
Okay. All right.
How about you?
Blouses is what you would call them.
Did you get blouses?
No, you know what? We don't do the gift giving thing really for Valentine's Day. We never have.
I pushed for that angle. Didn't happen.
Yeah, we've been together 8 years, and both of us are relatively frugal to begin with anyway. I think most people who know me would say that. You know, I have my things.
Cheap,
like that.
I think is a word I hear.
It's frugal. I have certain things, I'll spend some money on, but still won't go out. Like I love my Nikes. So I have at least 100 pairs of those.
That's ridiculous.
That's not ridiculous. Why is that ridiculous?
100 pairs of shoes?
Yeah, why is that? What's the problem with that?
How many of those pairs do you wear regularly? Probably like 2 or 3?
No, I don't have anything that I wear regularly. I mean, except for maybe a couple pairs because I go to the gym often. So if you want to call that. But no, I like if I feel like wearing this or wearing that color, I want to be able to wear whatever shoes I feel like wearing with that.
But you must have pairs that you haven't worn forever.
I do have some in there that I haven't worn in a while. I have some that I could probably donate.
Like you could say you have 50 pair that you haven't worn in a long time.
No, that's not true. I wouldn't say that.
Oh.
I wouldn't say that. 50 seems like a high number, but I have some that I could probably donate once I replace them with something else.
What size are you? So I know where you can donate them.
No, why? Not with them feet, them Flintstone feet. You're not
fitting into 10.5.
You're not fitting it.
It's average.
Average with the width. What's the width from them bad boys?
I've never measured. I'm guessing an E.
Someone should.
Is that a thing?
Someone should measure them bad boys.
E, I don't know. 7. How do they measure width?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't wear wide shoes, but yeah, I probably have a few that I could donate once I find something else I want to replace them with.
All right, let me know. My color is green.
But again, there's certain things that I just like, but it's not a lot of them. Again, Nikes is one of them. But I keep everything forever. I can put on a pair of shoes I've had for 5 years, and you would still think I just bought those.
They look brand new. You keep them clean.
Well, keep everything clean. Everything gets the paper put back in the shoe, and then they go back in the box.
Can't have a creased toe. People would talk.
I don't get too crazy about creased toes, but again, I don't wear every shoe every day, so I don't worry about the creased toe. So they go back in the box and they go back up. I've taken pictures of 98% because I just bought a couple pair not too long ago. I need to take pictures of, but I take pictures of them and then I print it out, then I cut it out and I tape it to the box, and all the shoes are color coordinated. All the reds here, all the black here, that type of thing.
There's a medical condition for this.
There's no medical. What's the medical condition? Have you heard it?
Some letters.
Some
bunch
letters.
of letters.
And so I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, we're pretty frugal for the most part. And so we don't do the whole gift giving thing. And our anniversary is on March 10th. And so we'll buy a couple of things for one another then.
Yeah, do it up nice. Gonna go away?
Yeah, we're going to go to Flag.
Oh,
we're going to go up to Flag.
Nice.
I got a couple of friends up there who normally take care of us when we go up. So up to Flag. So we'll go up there for a few days and hang out. And we haven't been able to get away in a while. So it'll be nice. We've been wanting to get away. She's been grinding hard. I've been grinding hard.
Yeah. Not been a lot of time to go away with everything that's been going on. So it's just starting to. Yeah, just got to find your way up there.
You know, we're not big vacation people. A lot of people we know are, and they like to go away and like to do things, and we are not. I can't think of any place I'd rather be other than working. So that's always my thing.
Oh, Vegas. I like Vegas.
Yeah. We'll go
working.
I mean, we'll go to Vegas, but we're not one of those people like, what's the next trip? We got to plan the next trip. We got to go on a cruise. We got to do this. We got to.
Yeah. I go to Boston once a year, so that's kind of limits doing other things when I know that's coming.
Right. Well, that's a big trip because that's not a cheap. I mean, it's cheap in terms of your family's back there. You have it, but to get back and forth, that's not a cheap flight.
No, the flight alone gets up there.
Yeah, that's not a cheap flight. It's not a cheap flight if I wanted to fly home to Detroit, which I don't do often. But if I wanted to fly for some reason, I could fly. It'd be cheaper for me to fly into Chicago, rent a car, and drive from Chicago to Detroit than for me to actually fly into Detroit.
I know people in Toronto who would fly in and out of Buffalo rather than continue on to Toronto. It was just easier.
Easier or cheaper?
I don't know. I think maybe easier.
Okay. That's fly into Buffalo and then drive into Toronto? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. That's weird.
I don't know why. Maybe the airports weren't that close to where he lived.
Okay.
Airport's all scattered up. Up on our brothers to the north there.
Yeah, Tamara came in here where we record, folks, if you give a damn. We record in my home office, so that's where we are. We get a little bit of an echo in here, I think. So when I send it over and they edit up the sound, I think they got to probably take a little bit of an echo out. But so this is normally where I do most of my work. And the wife, she does work over in the next room since she's a school teacher. And
I have to stare at this Magic Johnson jersey all day.
Yeah, well, it's a nice jersey, though.
It's not a Celtics jersey. Get a 33 up there.
No, thank you. And so she came in the other day. She gives me a kiss. She says, "You think we're missing out on life?" And I said, "This would be a good question to ask Jay." I know what I said to her. I said, "But she said, do you think we're missing out on life?" I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "Because we work so hard, we don't really go out and do a whole lot of things." I know what I said to her, and I'll tell her, but I want to hear what you would think about just nose down that often and not really getting out and smelling the roses, as some people would say.
I don't know. Do you want to smell the roses? Are you having fun doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
If you're having fun, then you're not missing out on anything. I don't know. People want to travel and see different things. I don't know. I've never been a big traveler and going to see things. I like to go to destinations. I know that'll be fun.
Right.
Vegas or something else with a casino.
Well, I told her, I said, life is long. So we'll work hard now and we get to where we want to be.
We're on the back nine, as they say, though. We're in our 40s, so we're on the back nine.
I don't think we're on the back nine, though. I don't live long, especially my family. People in my family live to be well over 100. So life is long. So you work hard and then you get to that point. Hopefully that work pays off. Then you have a lot of years to screw around and do shit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I come from the family that doesn't die. They just live forever as well. And I'm hoping I get those genes, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, nothing is guaranteed, but I think I take pretty good care of myself. So I would like to think that would have something to do with me living longer, having a longer life as well.
But your stress levels are going to give you an aneurysm.
No way. No way. You know what? Okay. Why would you say that? First of all, I'll let you say it.
I don't know. Because I have this vision of you being a stressful person. So I just kind of ham it up.
I know you do have this vision. I mean, that's what I'm asking. Why do you have that vision of me being a stressful person?
I don't know. Just half of it is the reaction I know I'm going to get out of you when I tell you how stressful you are.
And what's the other half?
Oh, I don't know. Because you're stressful.
No, what I am not. You know what? I do. I tend to think I have more stress than the average comedian, period. And maybe more than the average person. I think most people are just out here just la in life. And I don't know how people are able to do that. I do have my times, though, Jay, where I wake up and I'm like, how do people live that way? I wish I could live that way. I've tried. I cannot. It's not in me.
You got to be moving forward, right?
I have to be. I don't know.
It's okay to go sideways once in a while.
No, I know people who go sideways. I know people who make the
I
same.
live sideways.
I know people who've made the same amount of money, which is okay money. They have like a bunch of kids running around. They're married or not married, or maybe they just have a long time love, and they're all crammed into this house, and they're happy. And I look at them. I'm like, how is this possible that you're happy living this way? I don't know how it's possible. Not that it's wrong. I just don't know how it's possible.
I guess they've moved as far forward as they want to go.
Yeah, but that's my thing. I don't know how that is. I don't know how is this. This is you got here, and this is where
kids will weigh you down.
Kids will weigh you down.
I heard you say a bunch of kids in a cramped house. I'm like, that'll weigh you down.
And so, but I did tell her. I said everything that I'm doing has to work. I said I used to joke that if it doesn't work, I can go be an old man working at Walmart. But now they're giving that job to young people. So I don't know what I'm going to do. This shit has to work.
Be that guy at the door greeting people.
I thought it was going to be. You can't. You go to Walmart now, which I try not to. But if you go, there's young people there now.
Well, now they're checking. That old guy they used to stick at the front. People like, oh, it's so nice. It's a greeter. They actually did that because it was a theft deterrent to see someone at the door. That's all that was originally. People like, oh, Walmart's so nice. No, they're trying to deter theft from people walking out the door.
Yeah, but here's my thing. What if that old man who was asking me for my receipt, I don't feel like showing it to you today? What is that old man supposed to do
but
about it?
You're one in a million. And most people are gonna.
I'm at the gym 5-6 days a week.
He's not chasing him. He could care less. Fine. He's probably like, all right.
He's not going to get up. He's not steady on balance. Just give him a push on the forehead. He's falling over like a turtle.
That's assault.
That's not assault.
He just assaulted an elderly person.
Well, you know what? It says America, and I do have pale skin. So it could be
your best bet is to run. Is that what you're saying?
It wouldn't be assault. It would be attempted murder.
With a deadly index finger.
Hands were dangerous weapons. Where's this at? Who? So yeah, but I just struggle with that sometimes. I guess I wish I could relax and maybe settle down, but that's not in me. I guess.
Keep moving forward.
This guy.
Body in motion stays in motion. I don't know. I got more quips.
We're breaking off into Sesame Street here, the Science Club. What are you doing over here? Body in motion stays in motion.
I don't like where this is going.
Where's it going?
I don't know. Now you make me feel like I don't go forward enough.
We've been friends for 10 years. If I've never ever, just being around me hasn't made you feel that way. I don't know how what I say is going to make you feel. This is our
more sideways. We're going forward.
This is our second business time trying to do business together, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it. And so we're fine, I think.
Yeah. You need the forward. You got the forward guy and the sideways guy.
Well, I think you do. I think in any relationship, business or otherwise, you got to have. I don't think you want to do it with someone who's exactly like you. I think that other person who's exactly like you would eventually drive you fucking nuts. The thing that everybody tells you about yourself.
If you had another stressful person doing this with you, it wouldn't go well.
Yeah,
it would be tough. You need the passive me.
Yeah, that's what I need. The passive,
the non-confrontational passive.
I can already see it.
All right, sounds good.
I can already see this as if this. Thankfully, to you folks who listen, if this blows up, I can already see how Jamie's going to take credit here on getting it to be where it is to being a superstar podcast.
Did anyone else know my name was second on the marquee? Not even alphabetical.
This is second on the. Don't look at it like that way. Don't look at it like second on the marquee. Just it's just there.
Yeah, easy for the guy who's first to say.
Hey, we talked about this. All right, I got to start recording all of our conversations. Every conversation we have will be on a mic.
Yeah, you talked, and I said, "Do I have a choice?" You said, "Nope."
That is not what happened. That's not.
I read it in your eyes. I read it in your eyes.
Whatever, man. Yeah. So, but Valentine's Day was good. We caught up on sleep actually, and then we had a couple of friends over. For dinner. So we had a couple friends over for dinner.
That is always good.
And threw some steaks on. We had salad and whatever. Good conversation, couple of drinks. It was easy. But we actually caught up on sleep. Like none of that sex stuff like some of you younger folks out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what we caught up on. It was neither of those though.
Neither. Netflix.
I think we're caught up on Forensic Files.
You know what I'm catching up on right now because they just dropped it is Good Girls on Netflix. Great show.
Oh, yeah, we started watching it. We actually binge watched it. Someone said, hey, try this, and we didn't turn it off for like several hours.
I did the same thing when I first started watching season 1. And now season 3, they just dropped season 3 on Netflix.
Just came out.
It just come out. So I was watching that last night. Yeah, I was telling you yesterday I was having kind of a depressed day. So I was just kind of laying low.
I'm here to pick you up.
Okay, that is the
just chocolate on your desk.
Such
have
a
some chocolate.
douchebag thing to say. It's It was just one of those just one of those days. You just have one of those days. As a creative, I think all creatives have those days.
Just one of those days.
Is that what is that like
that was like a Limp Bizkit line, I think.
No, that's Limp Bizkit way of doing that song by Monica, which was an R&B song.
Just one of those days.
Take it easy, Fred. But yeah, just had a depressed day yesterday. So yeah, just kind of sat around, didn't get a whole lot done. Tried to get some stuff done.
Yeah, you need those days once in a while. Clear your head out.
Yeah, I like to try to hit the gym if I can get motivated for it. But yesterday was kind of watch The Good Girls a little bit and do a little bit of reading. I worked on some more things. So the podcast is launching tomorrow. This is the 3rd episode, but we by the time you guys hear this, we'll be 3 weeks in. So yeah, did some things to try to hopefully launch the podcast and do some things like that.
I changed the brakes on my girlfriend's car.
How did that go?
Not good.
Why? What happened, man?
I mean, I injured myself. My wrist hurts, so I tried to go to the gym that night and couldn't lift anything because of my wrist. I smashed my finger with a hammer, which you may ask, what are you doing with a hammer? That's not a tool for changing brakes.
It is not.
It is when it doesn't fit, but
what?
So I put the brake pads on. I get this tire off. I put the brake pads on, and the caliper that goes over the brake pads, it won't fit. I can't get it on there. I've got it pushed, the part that holds the brake fluid, I got that pushed all the way back. It still won't go on. So now I'm getting pissed. I said, you know what? I'm just throwing one of the old beaten up pads on there just to get this thing to fit. And I'm like, where the heck did it go? I can't find it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get the new brake pad on. It won't come off because I banged it too much with a hammer. So I have to take the whole thing that holds the rotor off. And finally it pops out and there's the old pad right under it. I never even took the old pad off. So funny, once that pad came off, it popped right into place.
Oh, wow.
And hopefully it works. Set my girlfriend to work today and haven't heard back. So
that could mean anything.
I don't know if it was successful or not. But
it could mean a number of things.
Turns out you can use a hammer.
Are you on her emergency contact list?
I am.
Okay, so you haven't got that call. So then, yes, that's okay.
I'm the ICE in her phone, I believe. Is that in case of emergency, you put ICE next to a name and a cell phone, and then that way they know.
Is that
in case of emergency? I think so.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Who's your ICE? I'm guessing your wife is your ICE.
Yeah, she's there. And she's there. Then my mother is second for me. A buddy of mine just hit me up and let me know that I am second on his ICE.
Oh,
for his work.
Second billing. That's not bad.
Not bad. I'm right behind his mom.
Ooh, that's basically top billing.
So I called him immediately and I said, "Yo, I'm here for you."
Depending on what trouble it is, he might just say, "Go right to number 2." Skip mom.
Could be. But I did say to him, I said, "Does this give me the right to pull the plug if need be? Because I need to know what this
power of attorney is.
Does this allow? What does this allow me to do?" he said,
what does it pay?
He said, "You're such an asshole." I said, "Well, I'm over here practicing my lines because I want you to know that I'm taking this very seriously.
I'm going to cry. I promise to cry when I pull the plug."
And part of me wanted to ask, what is it that you're leaving me just in case I have to pull this plug? Because this will really decide if I'm pulling this plug or not.
Right? I mean, if my iPhone's dead and I need that plug,
then you got to go.
It's the end.
You got a couple nice flat screens.
I got calls to make, emails to answer.
They saved me from buying that flat screen for the patio. So he's got like an 82-inch in the living room. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, he's a technology guy. He's into all that stuff, especially TVs.
I'm into big TVs, but I'm not going to go out of my way to have it. It'd be nice to have one, but yeah, I think I was at 65. Good enough.
Yeah. I'm not looking to go buy one. That's why I said, yo, if I got to pull this plug, what are you leaving me? Because I may want that TV.
Is that? I figured 82. That's like a projector.
You would think so. No, this
is just regular old screen.
Now you're saying I got another buddy who just bought one. It's 86.
That's insane.
What's insane is the amount of money for these TVs. I can't.
In 2 years, it'll be half the price.
I can't spend that kind of coin.
Just hold out.
Yeah, because we bought a new TV. That's what we did for Christmas. We bought one gift for the house, for ourselves, for the family, for she and I. And I'm going to say 70, 75 inch. We bought, and we got it for $600.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's a sweet deal at Best Buy. I would not have paid a nickel more for it.
Best Buy, that's like I thought that was Amazon showroom. I didn't think people actually bought from Best Buy.
I'm still old, I guess, because I like to go in and still talk to someone about certain things. I'm not a big TV guy, so I want to go in and talk to someone. I'll do my due diligence to learn as much as I can.
Oh, his $600 TV. Here's a $500 warranty service plan. Can I add that on?
No, that's for suckers. I'm going to say that to everyone out there. Aftermarket warranties are for suckers, all right? Go with the 2-year. You're going to have to probably do a little bit more work with the manufacturer if anything goes wrong. But the TV, if you get more than 3 years, more than that warranty is supposed to says, then, count your blessings. That's why I just don't spend a lot
TVs don't really break much either. They're pretty.
They don't, and the technology is so great, and they're turning them over so quickly. The reason we got this one for so cheap was because that next line of LGs was coming that they're trying to charge $2,000-$3,000.
Oh, it's like getting a 2020 off the lot in 2021.
Exactly. So they were trying to rush them all off. Right.
Good idea.
Right. For Valentine's Day, not for Valentine's Day, but the day before Valentine's Day, the wife got a new phone because she wanted a new phone. What she didn't realize was that Droid had gotten rid of the headphone jack. So she went to the gym to work out and could not listen to her book or anything.
Oh, an audiobook?
Oh, right. So I went down to Best Buy again, and I picked her up some new Beats headphones, some wireless ones, and got them for a real steal because now Apple is pushing everything out because they're bringing the new lines of things. So,
see,
frugal. I told you.
You got to let me know about these things.
Call me cheap. How dare you?
Well, cheap, frugal. I'm with you.
My mother says, she says, you're so cheap, boy. You like your grandmother. I have a great uncle, I guess, who told my grandmother years ago that you're so cheap or you're so tight you can squeeze the head off a buffalo nickel. So, that's my mother calls me cheap all the time. Why would I tell a guy who buys his son Jordans that he's cheap or tell him about deals? You're buying Jordans. What are you talking about?
I know, but that's a Christmas gift I do for him every year.
Yeah.
Since he was 1. Since he could walk. Every year that he could walk, I bought him Jordans for Christmas.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I haven't known you that long. I've known you, wow, I've known you 10 years. Jeez, how old is Jack now?
He's 13, so he was 3.
Was he that young?
When we moved here, and I met you not long after I moved here.
Oh, man, it doesn't seem like he was that young. But he's always seemed like a tall kid, though.
Yeah, he's always been kind of tall. He's got some height on his mother's side.
Yeah, so that's probably why he wouldn't have. Yeah, it doesn't register to me that he was that. You know what? It does, because I remember after you guys first moved here and you guys were coming out to Tosos and you were becoming a regular, you and another old friend of ours, more a friend of yours than mine these days, I think. But I ran into Amy and her mom, her mom at the grocery store. Yeah, and she was pushing Jack, I want to say, in some type of stroller or something around the grocery store. So yeah, man, fucking time flies.
Yeah, it goes quick.
But I always say the best friendships for me are the ones where I just can't quite remember when I met you. If I can pinpoint when I met you, unless it was some significant event, if I can pinpoint exactly when I met you, this probably hasn't been a whole lot of anything in the friendship.
I can pinpoint when we met.
Oh, well, see, then for you, then maybe there has not been enough.
Or maybe just given more of a thing for me to, believe in, fall back on, and this is a friendship that's going to work.
This guy.
And
take it easy, guy.
I gave you nothing.
Take it easy, guy. Stay away from the chocolate bowl over here. Getting chocolate high.
This is
They're gonna love to hear that. Okay, but it was Tosos. I know
it was at Tosos. It was a comedy show.
Yeah, but I can't remember.
I heard there was comedy there, and someone said, "This is the guy you want to talk to." His name's Sidney.
Okay, all right. I
said, I'll just go spit some jokes and let this happen organically.
Way to be organic with it. Thank you guys for listening to Jamie and I just go on and on here. I know you guys didn't come for all of that. Hopefully, we kept you somewhat entertained. Should we get some business out of the way?
Go for it.
Just want to remind you guys to go ahead and give us those 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and a great review if you would like. If no review, we get it, but at least give us the 5 stars. We would definitely appreciate it. Be forever in your debt on that one. Also, you can go check out and become part of our fan club if you go to our website, murderesspodcast.com. It's going to be MURDERESS podcast.com and become part of our fan club. When you do that, you'll find a button there that you can press and take you right on over to our Patreon. Patreon.
Who doesn't like a
button? And we got some great things on the Patreon, depending on what tier. So we got tiers that go from $5 to $25. It helps us keep the show going. helps us pay certain people that we need to pay to do certain things for the show. I can buy light bulbs. We can buy new mics. We can do whatever we need to do. So that's kind of what that is for. Also makes it kind of all the more worthwhile for us to go away from some of the commitments that we probably should be doing right now, but we don't do because we research, and then we got to do this, and then we got to do that, and we got to put this thing together, and so on and so forth. So check us out and do that for us if you would. Today's episode is a doozy of a one. A great movie was actually created based off of this woman.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And someone won an award based off of the movie as well.
like a good award.
Yes, a good award.
Like something bigger than you would hang on your fridge.
Depends on the fridge.
Oh, okay.
Because she may be living that lifestyle where she could hang this in her fridge if that's what she chose to do with it. I would hope she wouldn't do that with this.
Well, it's hers to do what she wants with, right?
This is true. So today's story is going to be about Aileen Wuornos. Wuornos was born Aileen Carol Pittman in Troy, Michigan on February 29th, 1956.
What's your neck of the woods?
My neck of the woods, that's right. U of M, baby. U of M. I hate you. Michigan State, go green. Thanks for setting that down.
The way that sounded was, I hate you, Michigan State. That's all I heard.
That is not what that sounds like, and that's not what
those words were in an order.
Aileen was born to parents who were teenagers when they were married 2 years prior. Her mother was 14 years old and her father was 16 years old. Aileen had an older brother, Keith, who was born on March 14, 1955. After less than 2 years of marriage and 2 months before Aileen was born, her mother, Diane, filed for divorce. Wuornos never met her father. He was locked up at the time of her birth. He would be diagnosed with schizophrenia. Sometime after that, he was convicted of sexual assault against multiple children.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Who knew? Who saw that coming?
Well, I mean, anything on this show.
On January 30th, 1969, Pittman took his own life while in prison by hanging himself in his cell. Aileen was just shy of her 13th birthday at the time of his death. Now, we're going to backtrack a little bit here. In January 1960, when Wuornos was almost 4 years old, her mother, Diane, abandoned the children. She left them with their grandparents, Lori and Britta Wuornos, who would legally adopt Aileen and her brother, Keith, on March 18, 1960. Aileen Wuornos started to become promiscuous in school by the age of 11, and as early as 9, according to some reports.
Oh, my God.
She would offer up sexual favors in exchange for cigarettes, drugs, or food even. Wuornos would later admit that her grandfather, who was an alcoholic, had beaten her and sexually assaulted her when she was a child. Before he would beat her, he would force her to take off her clothes. In 1970, at the age of just 14, Wuornos became pregnant. It was determined to be the result of having been raped by a friend of her grandfather.
Wow, Jesus Christ, all this in 14 years.
Short 14 years, that's a great way to look at that. Yeah, that's a lot of life to be lived in 14 years as a kid. But she was raped by a friend of her grandfather, although she claimed that her brother Keith was the father. Now, raped by the friend and sleeping with her brother Keith. I don't know why she would almost rather say Keith was the father than say that the child was.
Yeah, she must have been weird relationship with the brother if that happened. I mean, we don't really know. It's hard to say which is the accurate one, but one of those stories is probably true. And either's jacked up.
Yeah, and I'm not a doctor by any means, but I found it odd that to be raped by the friend, be pregnant, and then say that it was your brother who did it, as opposed to saying that this guy did it. I mean, just to volunteer.
Maybe she was put up to that. Who knows?
Could be. You're right. Could be. Wuornos gave birth to a boy at a home for single mothers on March 23rd, 1971, and the child was placed for adoption. A few months after her son was born, her grandmother died of liver failure. At about the same time, Wuornos dropped out of school. Shortly after that, at the age of 15, her grandfather threw her out of the house. Now, here's a teenage girl, broke with nowhere to go.
The guy who was letting his friends rape her, he threw her out of the house.
Right.
Jesus Christ. That guy's got to go.
Well,
Is he going to die? Because I'm already rooting for his death in this.
I'm with you. But I'm sitting here just thinking as I'm reading this, now with this quick pause here, backtracking just where she started. And the father to be who he was and ended up, and then the mom to leave the kids flat and just to take off. And then to be left with grandparents, which I'm going to assume probably maybe given the time period, the grandmother a lot, because I can't believe that the grandmother wouldn't know.
Friends.
Right. I just, just a lot. So now here's a teenage girl broke and with nowhere to go. She turned to prostitution as a means to support herself. She lived in the woods near her old home. This was par for the course because she had no semblance of a normal childhood at any point in her life. Her life of crime began to escalate from just prostitution, though. On May 27, 1974, now an adult at age 18, Wuornos was arrested in Jefferson County, Colorado, for driving under the influence, disorderly conduct, and firing a .22 caliber pistol from a moving vehicle. Pulling drive-bys in 1974.
Right. At 18?
When it came time to appear in court, Wuornos skipped out on that and would now have to answer for those charges as well. In 1976, a 20-year-old Wuornos hitchhiked to Florida, where she met 69-year-old yacht club president Louis Gratz Fell.
How old? 69.
69 years old yacht club president, bro. It was love at first sight, and they got married right away.
Sure it was.
The announcement of their wedding. Well, when you're 69, everything has to be at first sight. You know,
he's a yacht club. I'm sure he's rich and has money to throw around.
Well, again, he's 69. You say if I'm 69, you offer me dinner at first sight. That's what I'm picking. So whatever you put in front of me, yeah, I'll take the corner of the mashed potatoes. You don't look. No, that's the first thing I saw. I don't have much time. Get it over here right now. So it was love at first sight, and they got married right away. The announcement of their wedding was printed in the local newspaper. A true love that was destined to last forever.
I can already feel like this is going somewhere, Sidney.
However, Wuornos didn't exactly behave like one would expect the wife of a yacht club president would behave. I cannot believe this. She would regularly find herself in fights at their local bar and even got herself briefly thrown in jail for assault.
Assault, huh?
I've been,
assault on the old guy?
Yeah. Let me get to that in a minute. I want to say, you ever been with a woman who got in fights at the local bar constantly or ever?
No, I don't think so. I've dated women who've been like get real mouthy.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be the ones to like back it up.
Oh man, I've dated some women. One that comes to mind, which I won't even reference. But yeah, she got thrown out of a bar for throwing bottles. This was a bar that I grew up in this small town. When you got old enough, you go to this bar, hang out. So you knew pretty much everyone there in the surrounding towns there. And as far as I know and we know at the time, she was the first person to ever get kicked out of this bar for life.
Lifetime ban.
Lifetime ban.
I feel like I have more family members like that rather than people I've dated.
Hey, Sid, you guys are always welcome to come back. She can never come back in here again. So, but yeah, so I feel for Mr. Fell here for his situation.
Well, what did he think was coming? Come on, man.
He had no idea. She's 20.
Exactly. He's 69. He's got almost 50 years on it. What did he expect? This was going to be perfect?
So, wait, well, let me tell you this next part. You may take it easy on Mr. Fell. So she got herself briefly thrown in jail for assault. She even beat her elderly husband, Mr. Fell, with his own cane. leading him to get a restraining order against her within weeks of the marriage. Do you need a restraining order to be for her to stay away from you, or could you just get a restraining order for her to stay away from the cane?
Honestly, I don't even know if I'm dating a woman who's 50 years younger than me, I'd be like, well, just one cane beaten, you know? I mean,
well, is
she hot? I mean,
my thing is, she's a yacht club, or he's a yacht club president. Couldn't he did a background check on her beforehand to kind of figure out? Because it's not like she stayed out of trouble.
I need you to file an application. Yeah.
So
I know you don't have a boat, but still.
Sign here. Right. I know you don't have a boat. And that's the other thing. You're right. Most people with that kind of dough, living in that kind of circle, normally only deal with people within that circle. He'll never step out of that circle again.
I think his circle is locked down.
Yeah, he will never stepped out. So she returned to Michigan, where on July 14, 1976, she was arrested in Antrim County and charged with assault and disturbing the peace for throwing a cue ball at a bartender's head. 3 days later, on July 7th, I said I wanted quarters. 3 days later, on July 17th, her brother Keith died of esophageal cancer, and Wuornos received $10,000 from his life insurance.
I'll go get my own yacht.
Right? Wuornos and Fell annulled their marriage on July 21st. This is probably what she said right after she got the money. I don't need you, bitch. I'm out of here. On July 21st, after only 9 weeks of marriage. A month later, in August 1976, Wuornos was given a $105 fine for drunk driving. She used some of the money she inherited from her brother to pay the fine and spent the rest within a couple of months. $10,000 is not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
Let's be honest.
Far. Even back then, it's not going to go that far.
I don't know what I would be able to do other and make that last for how long you can make that last.
Even today's money, say that's $30,000 today. I mean, $30,000 go quick.
Yeah, I mean, you
get rid of a car payment. That's it.
If I'd have got it a couple of weeks ago, maybe I'd have thrown a few bucks on some GameStop stock. But I don't know.
Some Dogecoin.
Yeah, you did come in talking about your Bitcoin.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, I'm the proud owner of 1,000th of a Bitcoin.
It's only a matter of time, my man.
Don't come at me.
It's only
short money.
It's only a matter. Ooh, Puffy. I'm gonna start calling you Puffy. It's only a matter of time. You be dancing everywhere you go, every room you enter, dancing. She also bought a brand new car, which she wrecked shortly afterwards. Of course, she did. For some reason, it seems like at some point, all bets were off.
I'm guessing she didn't have insurance on that car.
You don't think she would have threw some insurance?
I think she let that bill slide.
Let AAA? Yeah. She let that slide? Don't think she was responsible enough?
No, I'm not. That's not what strikes me about her.
Think she wrecked the car and just left it where it was, just walked away from it?
Fuck it. Pull the easy line, throw it in the gutter, go get another.
Oh, this guy. There's two things you can love and hate something at the same time. I love and hate at the same that you know hip hop songs. See, I love and hate it at the same time. I love it that you know them, and I hate that you sing them. So, see, you can love and hate something at the same time.
It's rude and uncalled for.
Well, I mean, you make everything sound like a Kennedy remix. So.
All right, next, continue.
Nope.
I'll keep rapping.
Okay, let's go ahead. For some reason, it seems like if you work your way through the Biggie catalog, for some reason, it seems like at some point all bets were off because Wuornos then went on a streak of pretty much nonviolent crime. On May 20th, 1981, Wuornos was arrested in Edgewater, Florida for the armed robbery of a convenience store where she stole $35 and 2 packs of cigarettes.
Throw the smokes. Give me the Marlboro Reds.
She was sentenced.
The 100s, not the short ones.
She was sentenced to prison May 4th, 1982, and released on June 30th, 1983. What you say? How did she sign when she went in there?
I'm never coming back here. Terrible service.
Give me the short ones. On May 1st, 1984, Wuornos was arrested for attempting to pass forced checks at a bank in Key West. First of all, how much does the check have to be to get arrested? Because you don't hear that often that people get arrested for that.
I mean, $1 would probably get you arrested if it's forged, right?
Oh, man. Okay. On November 30th, 1985, she was named as a suspect in the theft of a revolver and ammunition in Pasco County. On January 4th, 1986, Wuornos was arrested in Miami and charged with car theft, resisting arrest, and obstruction of justice for providing identification bearing her aunt's name. Miami police officers found a .38 caliber revolver and a box of ammunition in the stolen car.
In the car, alongside of a cane. Take the gun, but I still got this cane. I'll fuck you up with.
It's like, what's that, SimCity? What's that game you can play? You change the different weapons you attack people with. What is it?
Oh, that's like every game, isn't it?
No, yeah, it is. But I'm thinking of, man, I'm sorry. I wish I could remember this damn game. I'm not a video game player. Like you jump into cars and you drive around, you can run people.
Grand Theft Auto?
There it is, Grand Theft. And you get like different weapons along the way. So now she's got a cane and a revolver, which she can switch to.
She sees the old guy. He switch off the revolver. Give me the cane. Stop beating up old people in the game.
Oh, on June 2nd, 1986, Volusia County deputy sheriff detained Wuornos for questioning after a male companion accused her of pulling a gun on him while in his car and demanded $200. Wuornos was found to be carrying spare ammunition, and police discovered a .22 pistol under the passenger seat, which she had occupied. She's finding some real weapons here that you just don't hear.
It's about as deadly as a cane. 22.
A 22. I'm like, I don't know anyone who's walking around with a 22. Who's walking around with a 22 pistol?
A pistol? I thought those were irrelevant now. Remember the cops used to use those, and then there was a cop who unloaded his .22 magazine into a guy, and the guy still killed him. So that's when they switched to 9mm a while back.
Okay. Different story for a different day.
Hey. Yeah.
Around
plethora of useless knowledge.
Cliff Clavin. Around this time.
I take that as a compliment, so there.
It's one of my favorite
Joke's
shows.
on you.
You should. It's one of my favorite shows. Around this time, Wuornos met Ty Moore, a hotel maid at Daytona Beach gay bar. They soon moved in together, and Wuornos paid the bills with the money she was making turning tricks. On July 4th, 1987, Daytona Beach detained Wuornos and Moore at a bar for questioning in regard to an incident in which they were accused of assault and battery with a beer bottle. On March 12, 1988, Wuornos accused a Daytona Beach bus driver of assault. She claimed that he pushed her off the bus following a confrontation. Moore was listed as a witness to that incident.
I'm guessing she probably had it coming at that point.
You think so?
I bet she got a little mouthy. Based on this story, I can picture her being a little mouthy with a bus driver.
Well, I don't know.
The bus driver having a long day. Get the fuck off my bus.
I don't know if you can assault a person because you had a long day and they're mouthy.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's legal, but I'm just saying I understand.
I mean, given her past, maybe he had to defend himself possibly, and that's not noted.
Yeah, true.
Could be. On November 30th, 1989, 51-year-old electronics store owner Richard Charles Mallory was killed by Wuornos in Clearwater, Florida. It would be her first murder victim. She claimed it was self-defense as Mallory tried to rape her. To be fair, Mallory wasn't, in fact, a convicted rapist. 2 days
So she got a point.
She has a point, or she gets a point.
No, she has a point here. I mean,
okay. Yeah, well,
maybe it was defense.
Could be, but
there's a silver lining here.
But it does not excuse the murdering of. I mean, that's what the law would say.
I don't know. If a guy tries to sexually assault a woman in any way and she offs him, I wouldn't have any sort of remorse for that guy.
Right. And maybe she gets away with that if that's the only thing she has done. Had done it after, she had done anything else after that. But 2 days later, a Volusia County deputy sheriff found Mallory's vehicle abandoned. On December 13th, his body was found several miles away in a wooded area. Cause of death, you might ask?
Caned.
No. Multiple gunshot wounds. It was reported that 2 of the bullets that entered his left lung were the ones that killed him. About 6 short months later, Charles Edmund Karskadon, a 40-year-old part-time rodeo worker, was killed on May 31st, 1990. Part-time rodeo worker? Is there such thing as full-time rodeo worker?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the health benefits in that are very good.
Was killed on May 31st.
Yeah, we can't insure your deductible is $300,000, sir.
A week later, on June 6th, his body was found in Pasco County. He had been shot 8 times with a .20 caliber weapon. The body had been wrapped in an electric blanket and was badly decomposed when found. Witnesses saw Wuornos in possession of the victim's car, and she would also pawn a gun that was later identified as belonging to Karskadon.
She pawned it?
Yeah, she pawned his gun. But she already had a .22, right? And a cane.
She's basically a ninja at this point.
At this point. Oh, the stars come into play.
Where are the stars?
Chinese
stars coming at you.
Ali's third victim was David Andrew Spears, a 47-year-old construction worker who was killed in Winter Garden, Florida on June 1st, 1990. His naked body was found along Florida State Road 19 in Citrus County. He had been shot 6 times. Citrus County, that just seems kind of like kind of a obnoxious name for a county. We all know Florida's known for oranges. I don't know if you need to name a county
Citrus, yeah, we get it. We already get it.
That's kind of obnoxious. Showing she wasn't going to slow down on this spree, Peter Abraham Sims was unfortunately her next victim. He was a 65-year-old retired merchant seaman who devoted much of his time to a Christian outreach ministry. In June 1960, Sims left Jupiter, Florida, and was heading to Arkansas, but never arrived. On July 4th, his car was found in Orange Springs, Florida. Witnesses ID'd Wuornos and her girlfriend Moore as the people who were sighted abandoning his car. Add to that, Wuornos' palm print was found on the interior door handle of the vehicle. His body was never found. We're going to read, there's plenty more victims that we're going to get to as well, but I did want to say this to you, Jay. She went for a long time saying that these people were trying to rape her and so on and so forth. I wonder, when you look at the backgrounds of some of these men, if they were picking her up as a prostitute, or if they maybe were just trying to give her a ride and she robbed them. That's the thing that can't help cross my mind, because when I read things like he was a 65-year-old retired merchant seaman who devoted much of his time to a Christian outreach. Now, I know that doesn't necessarily...
it doesn't exclude anything, but...
It doesn't necessarily mean that you would not possibly be picking this woman up as a prostitute. But I like to think Christian outreach minister, you're probably just trying to do a good deed and you just became victim to this woman.
It's possible, but I mean, she she seems to come in contact with people who have a certain particular interest. So I don't see how she's going to come across this guy in some other fashion.
The way you said it, people can't see you out there. You sound like you didn't want to say what that particular interest was. People of a particular interest.
I try to remain neutral here.
The fifth victim was a man named Troy Eugene Burris. He was a 50-year-old sausage salesman from Oakland.
Oh, hey.
Oakland, what?
What are you selling there, buddy?
No one's buying your sausage.
Come on.
We know this, sir.
Give you a deal.
Very happy
Just
that
come over here and have a look.
I'm very happy that I locked you down. So you out there trying to talk to ladies about seeing your vaina? Nobody wants to see it.
Vienna? What's a Vienna?
Same thing.
Anything like a Vienna?
Tomato.
Either one's rude, you dick.
You know the weird thing is, if I was talking about the city, I would have said it Vienna. But for some reason,
You're talking about my sausage, and you got thrown off.
That's because in my community, that's how we pronounce those little stubby sausages in the game.
Yeah, well, what do they call those adequate sausages? I think we'll go with that.
Breakfast links.
Breakfast links. Start your day off right.
Get this breakfast link.
No, take two.
That's how Jimmy Dean got started.
Jimmy Dean with the breakfast links.
Yeah, that's how he got started. That one crazy wild night. And he said, I can make some breakfast sausage out of this. All right. So he was 50-year-old sausage salesman from Oakland. He was reported missing July 31st, 1990. A few days later, on August 4th, his body was found in a wooded area alongside State Road 19 in Marion County. He had been shot twice. Charles Rifford Humphreys made victim number 6. So she's just working her way.
She's just moving along.
Down and quickly when you're looking at it, this is not a long period of time that she's finding these victims and murdering them. But Charles Richard Humphreys made victim number 6, known to his friends as Dick, was a 56-year-old retired U.S. Air Force major. He was killed on September 11, 1990.
All under the guise of prostitution. Probably at this point, she's probably just like, fuck it. I just act like I'm making a deal and then rob him.
She's got to pay
kill him.
Pay that hotel rate. Mr. Humphreys was also a former state child abuse investigator and former chief of police. Wow. A day later, on September 12th, his body was found in Marion County. He was fully clothed and had been shot 6 times in the head and torso. His car was found abandoned in Suwannee County. 6 shots. Seems like a bit of an overkill, though.
It's enough. It'll do it. They want to make sure that person doesn't come back.
Right. That'll get the job done. And then you look at 6 shots. Shots fired 6 times, head and torso.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there was an intent there.
And the final victim was not so lucky. Number 7, Walter Gino Antonio. He was 62 years old, and he was a trucker, security guard, and police reservist. On November 19th, 1990, Antonio's nearly naked body was found near a remote logging road in Dixie County. He had been shot 4 times. 5 days later, his car was found in Brevard County. On July 4th, 1990, Wuornos and Moore abandoned Sims' car after they were involved in an accident. See, just probably, like I said, that's why I said abandoned. She probably abandoned the one that she had bought with her brother's money.
I know, just pick one of these cars, man.
He was the 4th victim. So this is, wow, all right. Witnesses who had seen the women driving the victims' cars provided police with their names and descriptions. So there was this media frenzy going on to locate them. So, I mean, if you're looking back, if we're backtracking, you're trying to keep up with everything, because there's a lot of murder going on here in this short window. They killed the 4th, or she killed the 4th one. They abandoned the car. And now the media and the police are looking for them while they are still out here murdering 3 more men. Or she's murdering. I'm going to say she. Sorry. I always want to put them together in this, because I always find it hard to believe that Ty Moore was not a part of this in one way or the other.
Yeah, she flipped. They gave her a good deal. I mean, she had to know what was going on. How else these bills getting paid?
Right. So the police were finding some of the victims' belongings in pawn shops and retrieved fingerprints matching those found in the victims' cars. Wuornos had a criminal record in Florida, so her fingerprints were already on file. On January 9th, 1991, Wuornos was arrested on an outstanding warrant at the Last Resort, a biker bar in Volusia County. Doesn't that sound like a place that you would get busted for something? The last resort. That sounds like a place where the cops would just be
Poetic
busting people.
justice.
Police located Moore the next day in Scranton, Pennsylvania. She agreed to elicit a confession from Wuornos in exchange for immunity from
She
prosecution.
snitched.
Hey, man, that's why you should not be committing crimes at all. But if you're going to do it alone. Because whoever you do it with will flip on you.
Little snitch.
Moore returned with the police to Florida, where she was put up in a motel. Under police guidance, she made numerous telephone calls to Wuornos, pleading with her to help in clearing her name. So she was calling Aileen and wanting Aileen to let the cops know in whatever way she wanted to let them know. I wish I could hear these phone calls, what these phone calls sound like.
Yeah, it's probably. Hey, so remember that murder you did?
What's that you talking about? Where we went over? No. Remember you went over?
Remember? And I was like, no, you probably shouldn't do that, but you killed him anyways. Do you remember?
So Wuornos confessed, and so it worked because on January 16, 1991, Wuornos confessed to the murders. She claimed the men had tried to rape her, and she killed them in self-defense.
Yeah, not that many times. Sorry. Just once can happen, but if you keep coming into the same contact, the same type of people, it's, I don't buy it.
I'm with you. So a year later, on January 14th, 1992, Wuornos went to trial for the murder of Mallory. He was the first person killed by Wuornos. He was to convict a rapist. Although previous convictions are normally inadmissible in criminal trials, under Florida's Williams rule, the prosecution was allowed to introduce evidence related to her other crimes to show a pattern of illegal activity.
That's Florida, man, for you. They really cracked down, and they still got a bunch of crazy people.
Yeah, but they also, this is Florida for you, where they have things that are inadmissible by their own rules, but we'll waive this one because we feel like waiving this one. Man, that's all right. I think I feel some sort of way for Aileen because, as you guys have already heard, and you've heard me read it, Jay, her background, how she started. So I think part of me kind of feel, and maybe we shouldn't feel for her at all, and maybe you guys listening don't feel for these folks at all.
I mean, I feel terrible about how she got there.
But part of me still is like, man, I can't believe you're an awful person. Can't believe you did these things. But man, look at how you started.
If the fact that she killed a guy that allegedly was sexually assaulting her, I'm not bothered by that. But eventually, it seems like she just discovered, hey, I don't even have to put out.
Mm-hmm.
I know this guy's got money on him. This is what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just shoot his ass and take it. And that's where she lost me.
Yeah, because she probably, she being a prostitute, and this is us again. Neither one of us are doctors, so and maybe most of you are not. Maybe if someone out there is, you can correct us on this or give us
another
some
6 years of schooling though, and I got that.
Give us some insight on this. But maybe the whole thing of prostitution was just to survive, and it wasn't something she wanted to do. Wasn't something she enjoyed doing. Maybe not having sex with men was not anything she enjoyed doing. So you're probably right. They got the money. We're in this situation. They're in a vulnerable situation, probably. I can take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I'm not even against prostitution in a sense. It's like some places are regulated, and it's like, that's fine. That's totally a woman's choice. But she totally used that to murder people, basically.
Right. So going back again here, under the Florida's Williams rule, the prosecution was allowed to introduce evidence related to her other crimes to show a pattern of illegal activity. This is also known as the similar fact evidence rule. On January 27, 1992, Wuornos was convicted of Mallory's murder with help from Ty Moore's testimony. At her sentencing, psychiatrists for the defense testified that Wuornos was mentally unstable and had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder. 4 days later, Aileen was sentenced to die by the state of Florida. So you can be diagnosed with these two disorders and still get the chair in Florida.
Yeah, that's just like, this is so bad that regardless of what it was, you need to go.
I heard what you said, Docs, but
this is Florida.
We're still strapping around. Roll the gallows out here. So on March 31st, 1992, Wuornos pleaded no contest to the murders of Spears, Burris, and Humphreys. They were the third, fifth, and sixth victims, respectively. Wuornos said that she wanted to get right with God. When she addressed the court, she said, "I wanted to confess to you that Richard Mallory did violently rape me, as I've told you. but these others did not. They only began to start to. Then on May 15, 1992, Wuornos was given 3 more death sentences for those crimes. In June of 1992, Wuornos pleaded guilty to the murder of her second victim, Charles Karskadon, and in November of 1992, she received her 5th death sentence. The defense attempted during the trial to introduce evidence that Mallory had been tried for intent to commit rape in Maryland and that he had been committed to a maximum security correctional facility that provided remediation to sexual offenders.
Now, if you're on death row and you get additional death sentence, is that like championship rings? Like someone you only got 2. I got 5 rings. Okay,
They're talking
a dynasty here.
Got a dynasty here. You're a terrible person. Records obtained from that institution reflected that from 1958 to 1962. That sounded horrible. I'm going to reread that. Records obtained from that institution reflected that from 1958 to 1962, Mallory was committed for treatment and observation resulting from a criminal charge of assault with intent to rape and received an overall 8 years of treatment from the facility. While committed, doctors observed that Mr. Mallory possessed strong sociopathic traits. Despite the defense's best efforts, the judge refused to allow this to be admitted in court as evidence and denied Wuornos' request for a retrial. In February 1993, Wuornos pleaded guilty to the murder of her final victim, Walter Antonio, and was sentenced to death again.
6 rings. No, that's a different level when you get to 6.
No charges were brought against her
Need a second hand
for the murder of Sims, as his body was never found. In all, she received 6 death sentences. Wuornos would go on to tell several inconsistent stories about the killings. She claimed initially that all 7 men had raped her while she was working as a prostitute, but later recanted the claim of self-defense, claiming that the real motive was robbery and not wanting to leave any witnesses as the reason for the killing.
Aha. I said.
What's that there, Sherlock? What you got hiding about?
I said, that she knew they had money on them. They were coming for a good time and pop.
I feel like another hip-hop song is coming. Let me go start reading again here. At one point, she was doing an interview with filmmaker Nick Broomfield. Broomfield was an English director who did mostly documentaries and also coined the term direct cinema, where he would use non-actors for acting parts. During his interview with Wuornos, when she thought the cameras were off, she told him that it was, in fact, self-defense. But she could not stand being on death row, where she had been for 10 years at that point, and just wanted to die. Now, excuse me, on some of the things that I've watched where they went inside the prisons, obviously you're on death row. You're not dying the very next day. There's so many different appeals that you can exhaust.
No, it can take a couple decades for a lot of people.
For it to happen. But it seems to me that death row would I don't know, maybe I'm looking at this wrong because you are still scheduled to die. But it seems like death row would be the spot to be if you had to be in prison because you're not.
I think it'd be pretty chill.
Yeah, you're not with Gen Pop.
Right.
Everyone's always pretty chill. You're relaxed.
But this prison is still making you food, right?
Yeah, and she has some stories about that we're going to get to. So Wuornos was moved from the Florida Department of Corrections, Broward Correctional Institution, death row for women to the Florida State Prison for execution. Her appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court was denied in 1996. In a 2001 petition for the Florida Supreme Court, Wuornos said she wanted to dismiss her legal counsel and terminate all pending appeals. She said, and I quote, "I killed those men, robbed them as cold as ice, and I'd do it again too. There's no chance in keeping me alive or anything because I'd kill again. I have hate crawling through my system. I am so sick of hearing this she's crazy stuff. I've been evaluated so many times. I'm competent, sane, and I'm trying to tell the truth. I'm one who seriously hates human life and would kill again," close quote. That might have been the most honest she's ever been in her whole life, possibly.
And you know what? If that's her right, if you're on death row and you want to go, speed it up.
And she puts here, the thing that stuck out to me was two. One was, I'm trying to tell the truth. And the other was, I'm one who seriously hates human life and would kill again. That really stuck out to me. That's right up there with, and I'm paraphrasing, the Charles Manson, if you let me out of here, I'll kill till the bodies
begging to die.
I'll kill till the bodies stack up to the sky, or whatever it was that he was quoted as saying. So, man, that's a powerful statement. Um, while her attorneys argued that she was not mentally competent to make such a request, Wuornos insisted that she knew what she was doing, and a court-appointed panel of psychiatrists agreed. Can we get on some type of firm ground here? Does she have disorders? Is she not sane? Or is she sane? This is, to me, that's why psychiatry sometimes is such a debatable thing. It's almost
hokum.
It's almost subjective. What's that?
It's like hokum sometimes.
What please, for the people and for myself, it's like hokum.
Based on my degree of knowledge in the field,
I got
which
you.
is absolutely none.
Yes. Go on.
I mean, I don't trust all of it. Yes, they know more than I do, and they can probably tell you things about yourself you might not have realized, but I don't know. It's hokum, a lot of it.
And
that's not to discredit the ones that actually, some people get help out of it. Some people do see someone and feel better about themselves. But when it comes to like in a court sense, I guess that's what I'm getting at. In a court sense, I don't know if I trust it.
Yeah, but is that, going back to what you said, people getting something out of it and it helping them? Is it almost, because you're an atheist and I am not?
Why do you keep bringing that up?
Because we've had conversations where I want to remind people this may be the first episode people are listening to. Maybe they didn't start on episode 1.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, thanks. I have plenty of them. Just pay attention. Keep up with me, kid. So can you almost look at it like religion in that way? Because is it something where you adhere to it, you listen to it, you pay attention to it, you're a student of it?
Well, it's definitely more rational than religion, I would say.
Well, let me finish. But you're only going to get what you desire to get out of it. Not because there's any magical elixir to it. It's just, this is what you're getting out of it because you want to.
I guess if that's the comparison we're going to go with, yeah, I can see that to a degree.
I mean, feel free to push back. I'm just asking a question.
No, I mean, it's a very high level. Like you could say yes to in both degrees. If you're going to see a doctor, you got to want to get help. That's why you're there to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
Excuse me. And then I guess with the church, yes, if you're going to get, and I'll never criticize someone for believing in God or going to church. If that makes you a better person, then shame on me if I criticize you for it.
Shame on you.
But shame. But it's just not for me. That's how I look at it. Same like it's like, okay, that's just not for me. I'm not in the same place as these people, though.
Right.
Not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not for me.
I got you. Okay. Be proud of the fact that you're an atheist. You sound like you're ashamed.
I'm not embarrassed by it. It
should be. But you sound like
it should be. Really? I don't know if we want to go that deep into this.
I'm just kidding with you. I'm just kidding. No, because I'm with you. I don't care what you believe in, to be honest with you, or what you don't believe in. Whatever. As long as you're a good person to that next person next to you, to me, that's what
it is. Don't be a dick.
Right? But at the same time, I'm not going to infringe on what you believe in, your right to believe it. So yeah, I was only kidding. Don't be so personal. Take it easy.
Hey,
put your belt back on. In 2002, Wuornos began accusing prison staff of tainting her food. She accused them of using dirt, saliva, and urine. She said she had overheard conversations among prison personnel that they were trying to get me so pushed over the brink, by then I'd wind up committing suicide before the execution and wishing to rape me before execution. She also complained of strip searches, tight handcuffing, door kicking, frequent window checks, mildew on her mattress, and catcalling. In distaste and a pure hatred towards me. Wuornos threatened to boycott showers and food trays when certain officers were on duty. In the meantime, my stomach's growling away and I'm taking showers through the sink of my cell. Her attorney stated that Miss Wuornos really just wants to have proper treatment, humane treatment, until the day she's executed. He added she believes what she's written.
No, I mean, I'm with you. You know, if you're going to die, all right, you're paying the ultimate price. I think enough's enough. I know people say, oh, screw them. For what they did, they don't get treatment right after death. Nah, you're being put to death. I mean, there's no greater punishment. Yeah. So, I don't know. Just
all the extras not needed.
Slide. Yeah, no, it's not.
In the weeks leading up to her execution, Wuornos gave a series of interviews to Broomfield. She describes being taken away to meet God and Jesus and the angels and whatever is beyond the beyond. In her final interview, she once again charged that her mind was tortured while incarcerated and her head crushed by sonic pressure. Food poisonings and other abuses worsened, she said. Each time she complained with the goal of making her appear sane or to drive her insane. She also turned on Broomfield and said, "You sabotaged my ass, society, and the cops, and the system. A raped woman got executed and was used for books and movies and shit." Her final on-camera words were, Thanks a lot, society, for railroading my ass. Dawn Botkins, a childhood friend of Wuornos, later told Broomfield that her verbal abuse was directed at society and the media in general, not at him specifically. For her last meal, Wuornos had given the option to have whatever she wanted as long as it was under $20.
$20.
The hell am I gonna eat for under $20? My last meal.
Oh, kidding me! I could wipe out McDonald's for $20.
Shit on yourself before they kill.
Well, yeah, you got to clean this up when I'm done. You know what? Get me some Taco Bell. How much? How many bean burritos?
They buy you a bunch of Taco Bell. That might buy you another day and a half before they decide to execute you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but let them clean that up. That's all I'm saying.
I never knew that was a rule. $20. What would you?
Yeah, that could be just that prison's rule.
If you were listening to this podcast, I would really appreciate if you dug this podcast, go to murderesspodcast.com. Send us a quick message. Let us know what would your final meal be if you can only have something under $20. What would you get? Now, of course, my good friend over here, Jamie, says he's going to get McDonald's or Taco Bell and let them deal with cleaning it up. But I don't know what I would get for under $20.
All right, give us something good. Maybe we'll talk about it on the next podcast. Give us something good.
Yeah, give us absolutely something. And we'll definitely give you a shout out. If you send us in that message, we'll definitely give you a shout out on a future podcast. I don't know. I might just go with, because I'm slightly lactose intolerant, I may go for some Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
Let it roll.
Yeah. Bring me a few of those blizzards.
$20. Those nerd blizzards.
Give me some of those blizzards. And yeah. I'll eat them while you hook me up.
Yeah. Here it comes.
On October 9th, 2002, she was strapped into the gurney and hooked up to the lethal injection IV. When asked if she had any last words, she said, "Yes. I would like to say I'm selling with The Rock, and I'll be back."
Like Dwayne Rock Johnson?
Like Independence Day with Jesus. So no, not The Rock.
Oh, okay. That Rock.
June 6th, like the movie, big mothership and all.
Wasn't it July 4th? Independence Day? I don't mean to get on this lady on her deathbed.
Can we at least get to her final words?
The title's Independence Day.
So let me start over.
All right,
jerk.
Sorry.
Says, "Yes, I would like to just say I'm selling with The Rock, and I'll be back, like Independence Day with Jesus."
Oh.
June 6th, like the movie. Big mothership and all, I'll be back. I'll be back. At that point, the lethal cocktail started to flow, and at 9:47 a.m. on October 9, 2002, Aileen Carol Wuornos was dead. She was the 10th woman in the United States and the second in Florida to be executed since capital punishment was restored by the United States Supreme Court in 1976. Wuornos' body was cremated, and her ashes were spread beneath a tree back in her home state of Michigan by her childhood friend, Dawn Botkins.
Hey, she's right back to where she started.
Wuornos,
your neck of the woods.
We're staying my neck of the woods. Wuornos requested that Natalie Merchant's song Carnival be played at her funeral. The song was also played during the credits of the documentary Aileen, Life and Death of a Serial Killer. When asked why she allowed this, Merchant said, "When director Nick Broomfield sent a working edit of the film, I was so disturbed by the subject matter that I couldn't even watch it. Aileen Wuornos led a torturing life that is beyond my worst nightmares. It wasn't until I was told that Aileen spent many hours listening to my album Tiger Lily while on death row and requested Carnival be played at her funeral that I gave permission for the use of the song. It's very odd to think of the places my music can go once it leaves my hand. If it gave her some solace, I am to be grateful." Broomfield later speculated on Wuornos' motive and state of mind. He said, "I think this anger developed inside her, and she was working as a prostitute. I think she had a lot of awful encounters on the road. And I think this anger just spilled out from inside her and finally exploded into incredible violence. That was her way of surviving. I think Aileen really believed that she had killed in self-defense. I think someone who's deeply psychotic can't really tell the difference between something that is life-threatening and something that is a minor disagreement, that you could say something that she didn't agree with. She would get into a screaming black temper about it. And I think that's what caused these things to happen. And at the same time, when she wasn't in those extreme moods, there was an incredible humanity to her." There's something to that. That as children, we are taught, hopefully, how to balance what's serious, what's important, what's worth getting upset for, what isn't. And if you're surrounded by people who are molesting you, who are leaving you behind, who are schizophrenic, who may have possibly molested you as well. You're never going to learn those lessons in life.
No, not at all. You need an example. At least one positive example. She had none.
Right. So, so then you do become an adult who just blows everything, any sense of a conflict, blows it out of proportion because you were never taught how to balance these things out.
And somewhere in your mind, you rationalize it.
Yeah. So he may have a strong point there. Wuornos, who many consider to be the first female serial killer, her life and death led to many theatrical productions, just as she predicted would. The movie Monster, which came out in 2003.
I saw it.
Yeah, pretty good movie.
It was very good.
Starring Charlize Theron. Charlize actually won an Academy Award, an Oscar for best
that's the one going on the fridge.
There you go.
I saw that movie and it was disturbing, and it didn't even address her childhood. Like, it started when she was already an adult.
Yeah, they didn't. You're right. They did not. And I've seen it too a couple of times. You're right. They did not dig deep at all.
No, and it was still, God.
And I thought it was really good. I thought Christina Ricci did a great job as Ty, her lover. The way they portrayed the movie, I felt like they almost, for parts of it, Ty was allowed to be more of a victim than I think she probably really was. Looking a little deeper than what the movie showed. But it is what it is. So there were documentaries, TV shows, even musicals and poems all about Aileen Wuornos. Cardi B used an image of her to create artwork for her song Press. She even has her on IMDb page from all the documentaries she was in.
Wow, she made it further than we have.
She sure has. She sure has. Load up the car. We're headed out after this podcast. All podcasts will be on the road, folks. Many consider her a cult hero because she didn't just fall into line like a good little victim should. I don't know who these people are, but I will let them. I don't think I want to meet one of them at all, actually.
Yeah.
Here's a few death penalty stats as they relate to Aileen Wuornos. 56 murderer executed in U.S. in 2002. 805th murder executed in U.S. since 1976. 10th female murder executed in U.S. since 1976. Second murderer executed in Florida in 2002. 53rd murderer executed in Florida since 1976. Second female murderer executed in Florida since 1976.
In 76, that's the year it came back, right? Is that why that's a big year?
Yes. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Early in the legal saga, Wuornos was legally adopted at the age of 35 by a woman named Arlene Prell, who was only 9 years her senior. God told her to adopt her, so she did. Changed her first name to Lee Wuornos. While Aileen Wuornos wasn't the first female to kill multiple people, she is the first to fit the FBI's definition of a serial killer, which is 3 or more murders of people not known to the killer and who did not know each other. Also, it must happen over a period of time, not a slaughter. These are some very defined rules here.
It's like, wait, what? Someone going for it and they kill 3 at once. No,
right.
Sorry, you did it wrong.
Got a whole list of these things they know they got to follow. Aileen's 7 killings all took place in less than a 12-month period. And so this is what we were talking about earlier, that boom, 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 boom. These men were just coming up victims. And it happened so quickly that they were actually looking for her, the police and the media, while she was still in the midst of this spree. Up until her execution, this is one of the things that still gets me. Up until her execution, Wuornos claimed to still be in love with Ty Moore.
Yeah, probably. It's the only one that ever treated her right.
This is
side of the snitching.
I was going to say, this is also the woman who helped capture you and get you put in prison.
Yeah, she showed her love, though.
No, I think this further shows what Wuornos was missing her entire life. If you can still claim to be in love, not love, be in love with the person who helps the police put you behind bars.
Yeah, but she took responsibility for a crime, so she probably doesn't hold Ty too much responsible. Sounds like the best part of her life was the time with Ty.
But that's what I'm saying. This is, we could argue that point all day, but this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But this is a very interesting story, man. I'm glad we got a chance to break this one down.
Yeah, it's wild right from the beginning.
Again, this is, for me, I hope you as a listener learned some things you didn't know before, but I definitely did some things that I did not know. Definitely not. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in watching movies about people that we think we learned all we needed to know because we're pretty sure that the director and the producer covered that life of that person. When there's so many things.
Yeah, in that movie, it's like, wow, she was a monster like the title says, but okay, wait, you missed what happened from age 4 to 15 or whatever it was that made her for what she was.
Right. And does the title, even after finding out what we found out doing the research, does the title even fit her at that point? The title of the movie, Monster.
Like, is it too aggressive? Like,
is it too aggressive? I mean, because
she eventually earned it, I guess.
I don't think so.
I guess so. It's what's your definition of monster? Is a monster like a conscious like decision making, or is it just someone that's been created?
Right. And it goes back to that question: are these people created or are they born? And I think it goes both ways. I think there are, and we're going to get into some of them at some point, some of our episodes, where this is just a person who was born bad, as opposed to some who just had.
You don't think she was created bad?
That's what I'm saying. Some who created versus just born.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But this one's, I would say, definitely created.
Right. Absolutely. So this one,
now I follow you.
Yeah. Good.
Picking up what you're putting down.
You stop it. Oh, man. This was a good one, though. I've been Sidney Smith.
Jamie Kamaya.
And this has been Murderess from the Sidney Smith Creative. This has been episode 3 of Murderess. If you like our show, again, give us those 5 stars rating on Apple Podcasts and leave us a nice review. And be sure to tell your friends. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen right this moment. You can also support the show by joining our Patreon at Murderous Podcast. So the real easy way to do that, once again, go to our website, murderouspodcast.com, go to our fan club tab, and follow the directions from there. We'll see you next week, and as always, be aware of your surroundings.